Hello Aries, how are you? I'm Luke Bulgarakis from LV Life and welcome to your tarot reading for the year of 2024. We'll be looking at anyone who's Aries, Sun, Moon or Rising. So feel free to listen to all three of your videos for the year. So I'll start with three cards just to summarize your transition between 23 to 24. Then I'm going to do 12 cards, one for each month of the year of 24. And then finally, a further three cards just to summarize. So let's see what we've got for you, Aries. So in the first three, we start with the 10 of Pentacles, one of my favorites. In fact, as I'm looking at your three cards we've just drawn, they're all in reverse as well. So a lot of internal processing and stuff going on for you in 23. So this 10 of Pentacles is about a transition. So on this side of the card, it's kind of the darker side of this tunnel or whatever you want to consider it to be. And we've got this old guy here sitting kind of hidden. And then these two dogs and this child over here are aware of this old guy, but the people on the other side in the light are not. And then there's this tower being built up here that's quite prominent in the card. So what this represents is your transition from the darkness to the light, but being divinely guided. So when we see this old person and only the animals and the children can see him, this really for me represents spirit. So somebody in spirit divinely guiding you from the darkness to the light. But a lot of this I think is based on self-worth journey, like this transition from really not understanding who you are or your worthiness or your abilities in the world or purpose, and really starting to find that. So I feel like you've been on this transition in 23 to really start this self-discovery, but it's, it's never easy and it's never pretty. But certainly it's been divinely orchestrated for you. And then as we move on, we've got the Wheel of Fortune card here. Now the Wheel of Fortune is kind of a gambling aspect. So on this wheel, some of the things around the edge are wonderful, your nice gold-plated things here. But then here, closer to the edge, we've got like this devil character or the snake. So, when you spin the wheel, it's a bit of a gamble. And I feel like internally you've had to take a few risks. Perhaps they've been risks on how you feel about someone or something and trying to trust your instincts a bit more. Perhaps there are risks around your openness, your vulnerability, the things you're willing to share, the way that you're willing to express your emotions rather than just keep them within. So there's very much a bit of risk taken. Now, I do think it's possibly more around the intuition aspect. Really trying to trust that intuition rather than relying on what your head says or the outside world says. And some of the times that's paid off and sometimes it hasn't, but it's all a practice, right? And even if it doesn't pay off, it's a wonderful learning lesson. And then we've got next to it the Magician card. And this has all of the suits in. So the cups, the pentacles, the swords and the wands. And it's very much about creating yourself as the person that you want to be. Because again, it came up in reverse. And perhaps physically in the world, you haven't created everything on your vision board yet, manifested it all yet. But certainly from an internal perspective, you've been trying to really reshape and redefine yourself. And so this is very much what 2023 to 24 is relevant to the rest of your 24 reading. So now let me draw out the months of the year for you. So we've got January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Just one on the floor. Hold the line, let me get that. September, October, November, December. Look at that. Right, I know you can't see these, but I'm going to show them all to you one by one as we go along. Okay, let's start with January. So in January, we have here the Six of Wands. Now the Six of Wands, you can see there are lots of people kind of celebrating as you come back on this horse holding up this kind of wreath. It's a bit of a celebration and people kind of on board, almost marching with you, alongside you, supporting you, lifting you up. This came out in its reverse position. For me, in January, I think you need to become your own cheerleader. I think if you're waiting for external validation, if you're waiting for other people to lift you up, you're going to be waiting a long time. So this is very much about you lifting yourself up, you being your own cheer squad here. So I think there's some work to be done in January off the back of the stuff that we've just talked about for your transition between 23 and 24, to really elevate yourself. So that'd be interesting to see how you bring that into fruition, because people will get on board with you, but it's not that they need to get on board and then you rise, it's that you need to rise and then they get on board. So yeah, there's a bit of work in January, but very nice work, really good work. And then we come on to February. We have the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands, let me give you a little example of kings and queens. Traditionally speaking, kings will inherit the throne. They land on it by their birthright. They don't really do anything to earn it. And then queens will earn the throne by marrying the king, by bearing the king's children, by learning royal etiquette. So it's a very different journey for a king and a queen traditionally. So this is you landing on a throne, a wands, manifestation, creation. So I think this inner work that you're doing in January to lift yourself up, to be your own cheerleader, to rise before being risen, I think is going to put you in a position that you weren't necessarily expecting, but will inherit from a perspective of, oh, I've become a bit of an authority on this. I've suddenly people are asking me, how did I do it? Why am I so great? You know, this aspect of really landing on a throne that you probably don't feel like you deserve, but that people are recognizing you and seeing you. I think seeing you is important, because with a king, it's all about being seen. Normally, the people that do the work are the team behind the king. So I feel like you're going to get seen in February, but unexpectedly, not something that you've consciously been working towards, but something that has almost been like your birthright, to be seen, to show up, to lead, to inspire. Like it's a birthright. It's just been a given to you. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. So you have to get yourself lifted first in January, and I really think in February you're going to be seen. What that turns into, I don't know. What was that going to manifest into? I have no idea, but it's quite exciting, right? I think maybe an opportunity. I really like it. And then in March we come to this Eight of Swords. It came out in reverse, but let me talk upright first. In this, there are all these swords there. This person's bound behind them, and then there's this one sword that's just to the side. And actually, there's nothing physically stopping this person walking forward, because the sword's been moved out of the way. So what this suggests, particularly internally, upright, reversed, start again, Luke, reversed, it means that stepping forward for you actually should be easy. The only thing that's holding you back is you. You are bound and tied yourself through beliefs, through mindset, through thought patterns, through general life conditioning. But actually nothing is physically holding you back. You are ready to step forward. So I think when I look with it next to the King of Wands, there's going to be an element of imposter syndrome sneaking in here. Like you're going to feel like you're not worthy, like you can't step forward, but you will get over that. Like this is you tell it. This is card tells you there's nothing physically stopping you, and just to get that one message is enough to get over it. So I think that, you know, when you get noticed or recognized in February, you might start feeling a bit imposter syndrome in March. But just remember, there's nothing physically holding you back, only your mindset. So yeah, I think this is a lovely message to get. Like you can still really go for it. And then in April, we have the Four of Swords. And this is very much about taking time to rest and reflect upon the battles and challenges of the past. This is not a time of active battle, but your battles are still hung up here on the wall. And actually, they're next to this kind of stained glass window looking out to quite a nice, colourful background there, quite a nice something going on. So it's about understanding what got me here today, the things that were really hard, how did they serve me? Why did they happen for me, not to me? And how can I use them to inspire, to use them as goodness, to light up the world a little bit with them? But it's a reflective period. It's time for submission, not to be actively battling, but to be submissive, to be recuperating and contemplating from some of the harder stuff that's happened to you in the past. Because there's goodness in it. There's always goodness in it. So that's really, I think, going to help with this imposter syndrome situation as well. I think you're going to start to feel more valid and more worthy when you recognize that your journey was what led you to this, and that you can use that as part of your story to inspire others. It makes you feel a bit more valid, I think. And then in May, we get to the Chariot. So the Chariot, this came out in reverse as well. It can mean physical travel, but in reverse position, I feel like this is internal shifts again. The important part in the Chariot is the darkness and the light. These two Sphinx characters that sit here carrying this chariot, they are dark and they are light. So this is very much about honoring the darkness and the light. And I think this is why this is coming straight after this Four of Swords, where you're resting and reflecting on some of the battles and challenges. We get too crazy optimistic in this world sometimes, where we say, oh, we must think positive, we must put a smile on our face, chin up. And that's not really very healthy. And equally, we get too pessimistic in life, and we sit in the darkness and we wallow and we whine and we moan and we complain and we bitch. That's not healthy either. But both serve a purpose. So it's okay to be in one and the other, but it's not okay to live in either. You need to find the balance of the two, because we learn our lessons in the darkness and we grow in the light. So I think very much this is a journey of understanding the dark parts and how do you use them to elevate you, to lift you, to move you forward. Elevate is the key word here, because it sits directly below the January where we had the Six of Wands, where I was telling you about elevating yourself. So your next kind of level of, this is beyond elevation, this is then moving forward with that elevation, is to honor the darkness and the light, to understand how both serve you and to use that to your advantage and your power. And then we move on to June, and we've got the Five of Wands. So the Five's a little bit disruptive, cheeky Five. You can see here there's like this kind of battle going on, but they're not fighting with swords, they're fighting with wands. No one's going to get hurt. This is about not getting caught up in meaningless drama. I feel like there might be some dramatics going on in June. Don't get dragged into it. Perhaps previously your ego might have stepped in and said, oh, I need to sort this lot out, or I'm not having this, or I'm not putting up with this. Just let it go. It's okay to not get caught up in meaningless drama. Does it serve you? Will you care about it in 6 months' time? Probably not. So don't get caught up in meaningless drama in June, right? Keep the focus on yourself, not on what other people think, feel, or are doing, because, you know, other people could be more, we can all be morons, but particularly other people. So, yeah, I mean, don't get caught up with the morons, right? It's not worth it. July, we have the Hermit. I bet we've got the Hermit in reverse. So, great thing about the Hermit is he always lights the way. He might be in the darkness, he might be recluse, or like really internal, or very submissive, or very dark, but he always lights the way. And in this reverse position, it's asking you, and again, sitting next to what we just saw about this Five of Wands and this kind of nonsense and drama, it's asking you to take a step back, like an internal step back, and just say, I don't need to fix everything today. I don't need to fix everything this month. But I can sit back and observe and reflect and know that there's some wisdom in all of this, and just allow it to light me forward. It's like playing the long game. The Hermit's playing the long game. So use that. It's a bit of a chill time, I would say, in July. Bit of a chill. Don't have to do too much internal work or external work. Just sit back and relax, reflect, and just allow things to start lighting up for the future for you. You might get ideas or sparks of inspiration or light bulb moments in these times, but nothing active to do other than just to retreat a little. And then August, we have the Two of Cups. And you can see this winged character. I always, when I see a winged character, think that this is perhaps something that's like being divinely orchestrated on your timeline. I don't know what you believe, but I believe that we live many lives, and before we come here, we make a few agreements, and we put a few things on our timeline and a few people on our timeline. And so when I see these wind characters, I feel like that's just that stuff coming into play. And here with the Two of Cups, there's one person kind of reaching forward to the other. It's a bit like the olive branch being extended, and cups are relationships. However, in reverse, it's a bit more emotional. Is there a frictious relationship, whether present or past, that is coming back up for you, that is playing on your mind? And I feel like that's this energy in August. And I think that it's sat next to this Hermit, asking you to retreat from those thoughts and just reflect upon them rather than actively do anything with it, right? So it may be that you have a thought or intention of extending that olive branch to someone, or trying to clear the air, or whatever. And I would just say don't in August. That's not the time. It's time to keep it back a bit, to just focus on the self and not other things, or fixing things, or changing people's minds, or whatever. Okay, so just keep that retreat in mind for the summer, right? July and August, very much retreaty times. Yeah, not too much heavy going external stuff. Just really keeping it internal and reflective. And then in September, another two, the Two of Swords. You're going to have to make a decision in September. I've just seen what's coming up in October, and I'm starting to connect a few dots here between kind of August, September, October. So you're going to have to make a decision, and I feel like it's like a cut and run decision, or a bit of a cutthroat decision, maybe. I'm going to just play out an example, whether it relates to you or can relate to something similar. Just let me know. Let's pretend there's something frictious between you and another person, and you're thinking that you might want to make amends, or try and fix it, or get your opinion validated or heard, or whatever. And actually, what you probably need to do is step away from it and maybe cut ties, because not everyone serves us forever. Some people are here for a short time in our lives, and that's okay. Some people are here for a long time, but not forever, and that's okay. Not all relationships are forever and ever. And we hold on to this notion that we should be with someone because we love them for our whole lives. I'm not just talking romantic relationships, friendships, colleagues, people you meet at the bus stop, whatever. No relationship is forever, necessarily. So I think that you might have to make a decision whether to pour more effort into fixing this relationship or whether just to let it go. And the reason that I feel like it's more letting it go is because when we come to whatever the next month is, October, we get the Tower card. Don't fear the Tower, it's beautiful. Things might feel like they're crashing down and crumbling around you, but they're clearing the path for something new, something greater that you cannot ever imagine, because the universe has a much greater imagination than we do. So the things that you built up may come crumbling down in October, but they're creating something even more fantastic, a rebirth for you. They're clearing this path. You're building the wrong tower before. And I think this may be a relation to a relationship or friendship or something like that. Where if you let it go, it's going to feel like the world has ended. But in reality, it's going to open you up so much more, clear the path for something or someone even better, even greater. And on the other side of this tower, once it's cleared and the dust has settled and the new day has begun, right, we get this Page of Swords in November. And this page is very much like, I would describe the page as an intern. You're just starting out fresh and new and optimistic. It's a bit exciting. Got a fabulous mini dress. And I feel like you're moving forward in the world with this page, but moving forward towards your destiny, towards your correct path. Because the page leads to the knight leads to the queen leads to the king. So I feel like you're just realigning onto your correct path, and it's going to feel new and exciting and brave. Really optimistic. And this sits exactly below this Two of Cups where we're talking about perhaps this relationship or friendship, the Death card. And the Death doesn't mean death, like the Tower doesn't mean the end of everything. It means the rebirth, the restart. And in Death card here, you can see there are two towers in the background, and the sun is shining between them. And then there's this kind of priest-like figure here. And this is very much about taking ownership, of taking control of your transition between one tower to the other tower. And that beautiful sunshine shines up behind it, telling you, illuminating your path, telling you it's the exact right path for you now. So you're getting some course correction, I would say, in the kind of late summer, early autumn, a bit of course correction. But it's going to totally lead you to the place that you're supposed to be and the people that you're supposed to be with. I just think you're a bit misaligned. You've been doing all this internal work, and you'll notice that when you do internal work, the world around you starts to physically change. A lot of people won't get it, so they might leave your life, but then you'll find another community that really do get it, and then they become your life. So yeah, it's very much this transitional period for you, but really course correcting you onto the right path. Let's do the final three cards to sum it all up. All of these are reversed, meaning it's all this internal work again. Ace of Cups, so your cup is so overflowing. that you can finally start giving back with abundance. But in reverse position, you're trying to fill this cup so it's overflowing. So that's really what your 24 is about, is really trying to refill your cup with the right good, the right stuff, the right people, the right energy, the right thought processes, the right feelings, the right intuition. And it'll all spill out and spill over and start really making a huge impact on the world. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. You can see things are starting to blossom and bloom around the Queen. The Pentacles are the more physical aspects of the world, so things really coming into fruition. But in this reverse position, it's all self-worth. So really starting to take ownership of your self-worth, finding that Queen energy, having worked so hard towards building your self-worth that you find your throne finally. And then the last one here, the Six of Cups. Being more curious and open. This is in reverse again. There are two children here sniffing daisies coming from a cup. As an adult, we're like, that's weird. As a child, they're like, oh, that's curious. So using that mindset. So when you are, again, using this example of perhaps a relationship is coming to an end and a new one is beginning, or something, not necessarily romantic, as I said, could be friendship or whatever, family. Starting not to look back at that person or that situation with bitterness or judgment or disappointment, but looking back at it like, curiously, why do they behave like this? Why do they think and feel like this? That's interesting. What's their background? What's their lens? Why are they the way that they are? Why am I the way that I am? All of this curiosity mindset. And I think that's really going to help you to break this situation, to break these ties with love and respect and kindness rather than bitterness and disappointment and stress, right? So really using that curiosity to navigate this situation. So yeah, big year. Exciting. So let me know your thoughts. Does that stuff resonate? Come back throughout the year and ping me a message or a comment. I love to know how it's going on for you. And I'll leave my details in the information and comments so that you can contact me as well. And I will do this reading for you more personally if you would like, so that it's the same reading but for you, not just for the generic sign. And that's for £24 for 2024 is what I'm doing. So if you'd like to book that, again, I'll leave my information in the description in the comments. And on the 4th of February, I'm holding a Learn Tarot with Luke class. It's like a day workshop to learn tarot in the way that I use it, which is intuitively rather than focusing too much on the textbook, and really trying to build stories with the tarot rather than one thing meaning one thing and one meaning another. Really trying to integrate it and build a story, which hopefully you can see from today's reading. So you can do that with me at my physical premises at the LV Life Wellbeing Centre in Fareham, or you can do readings with me online, video call, or whatever works for you. So have a wonderful 2024 and look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye.